Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Monday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Good to see you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, and I welcome you to this live where I help you look, start, and grow your side gig. Welcome. Hey, speaking of side gig, when you have a job and you're growing a side gig, or you don't have a job and you're just fully working on your side gig, there's a lot to be done. T-Money, how are you? There's a lot to be done when you're doing your side gig and you're trying to grow it from scratch, whether you're any type of a side gig, whether you're in network marketing, direct sales, affiliate, whatever you're in, if you're growing a side gig, it can become overwhelming. Even though, it's not one of my favorite words because feels, um, it feels exhausting. You know what I mean? It feels exhausting. What's going on, Team Money? So when you say overwhelmed, I'm just not a big fan of that. So I actually try avoiding that word at all times. But at times, you do get overwhelmed. So what's the best way to handle, a situation like that? And you know what? I don't know if there's a best way because when you're overwhelmed, there's so much that's going on that usually people are not all ears about recommendations and suggestions and personal development, and they're like all closed off to all that stuff. It's kind of what causes the overwhelming, right? So most people, when they're in that state of overwhelm, if you would, um, they're not really open like to a lot of things, right? They're just kind of focused kind of on their stuff, right? Well, what do the Stoics say about overwhelm? I love what Marcus Aurelius writes in his meditations, and he says, do not be overwhelmed by what you imagine, and do the best you can, and you should. Okay? Do not be overwhelmed by what you imagine, and do the best you can, as you know, and you should. Right? So I love that though. You know what? The first thing it says, do not be overwhelmed with what you imagine, which means it hasn't happened. Most of the stuff we worry about don't even happen. Yeah, we're overwhelmed with stuff, but most of the worries don't even actually happen. I can definitely speak for myself as well. So in a lot of cases, you're overwhelming about stuff that you can't even control, right? There's stuff that are in your control, and there's stuff that are not in your control. Most of the time, the stuff is not in your control. And the Stoics, what they say says, hey, do the best you know you can, and you should. That's so big. Do the best that you know you can, and you should. See, and I've talked about this before where you know in the journey, through the journey of success, if you would call it, right? You're going to get to hear so many mentors and so many pieces of advice and so many great stuff, right? Most of them you already know. Most of them we already know. We already know what we need to do. We just choose not to do it. Let's be truthful with ourselves, right? You know what you got to do. You know. I don't need to tell you. It's not like you're 6 months old that I need to tell you, hey, this is what you got to do. You know what you got to do, right? And you know what you should do. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? And you know what you should do. So if you already know what you got to do, and you already know you should, and then you let go of the stuff that is not in your control, that's a pretty good formula of overcoming overwhelm, wouldn't you say? You get rid of, right? You get rid of the stuff you cannot control. Just all the stuff you can't control, you get rid of that. And then you do the stuff you know you can. You know that you do the best that you know you can. And then you also do the stuff that you know you should. Like, you know, you gotta walk around the block a little bit longer. You know, you gotta go to the gym. You know, you gotta put down the fries. You know, you gotta pick up that book. Like, you know, you gotta do that stuff. You know, you gotta, right? Like, you know that stuff. So I think that's a great formula to overcome overwhelm. That's funny. There's a delay in when I get the messages. I think I just got the message about the neighbor. Jenny, how are you? Welcome, welcome. I know you're gonna circle back and watch the replay because I'm about to wrap this up. But wouldn't you agree with me? That is a great formula to overcome overwhelm. Now, it's a great formula. Putting it into action and use, it's a whole different ball game, right? And I think that's where you can get creative, and that's where you can put everyday's principles into practice because you get so many chances, right? So, like I shared, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. I appreciate you guys. If you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love, tag a couple people, share it on your wall. You know, the basics. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side gig. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.